Relief feels good, until the other shoe drops. Most veterans heard the news about the VA pausing the medication rule and let out a breath they didn't know they were holding. You read the headlines. You saw the frantic posts on Facebook forums calm down. You think the danger is over. You think your rating is safe. Here's the truth. The VA doesn't reward complacency. It rewards clarity. When you treat a pause like a cancellation, you don't save your peace of mind. You risk your future benefits. The rule is on hold, but the intent behind it hasn't gone anywhere. If you stop building your evidence shield now because you think the war is over, you are walking onto a battlefield without armor. Today, we are looking at why this pause might be the most dangerous time for your claim, and exactly how to protect your rating from a system that just showed its hand. On February 19, 2026, the VA leadership announced a pause on the implementation of the evaluative rating rule change. This was the rule, officially known as RIN 2900 AS49, that threatened to rate your disability based on how you function while on medication, rather than your unmedicated baseline. It was a massive shift. It effectively tried to overturn years of established case law. And just 2 days after they published it, following massive backlash from organizations like the VFW and DAV, they hit the brakes. But hitting the brakes isn't the same as parking the car. This has created a dangerous false sense of security for thousands of veterans. For thousands of veterans currently filing claims or preparing for CNP exams. My goal is never to mislead, only to empower you. And the honest assessment here is that the VA has signaled its intent. They want to modernize ratings, which often means cost reduction. Today we are going to break down why this pause is not a victory lap. We are going to look at the mechanics of how CNP examiners operate, why human bias is your new enemy, and exactly how you need to build your evidence to bulletproof your rating. To understand why you are still at risk, you have to understand what the VA actually tried to do on February 17th. You need to know the enemy. For years, the legal standard has been clear. It comes from a landmark case called Jones versus Shinseki. If you take medication that manages symptoms, the VA was required to rate you based on the severity of the condition without the medication. The logic is sound. Just because a pill masks the pain or stabilizes the mood doesn't mean the disability is gone. It just means the treatment is working. If you stop taking that pill tomorrow, would you still be disabled? Yes. Therefore, you are compensated for the disability. The new rule explicitly tried to override that. The text required evaluations to reflect how the condition presents at exam time. Think about the implication. It punishes you for seeking treatment. It tells you that if you do what the doctor says, the VA will strip your compensation. Now they paused it. They said it will not be enforced while they accept public comments until April. But here's the reality check. The VA drafted this rule. They reviewed it. Lawyers looked at it. They published it. This wasn't a typo. It was a calculated move. The document exists. The philosophy exists. And that is what you are up against. We need to be ready. Why isn't your rating safe yet? Because the VA is a massive, slow-moving ship, and information travels slowly. When a rule is published and then immediately paused 48 hours later, that information does not trickle down instantly to every decision maker. You have thousands of contract examiners working for companies like QTC, VES, and Optum. They might not have seen the memo. Even if they know it's paused, the seed has been planted. An examiner who agrees with the new rule now has a document that validates their bias. They might unconsciously write their medical opinion based on how you present that day, medicated and stable, rather than your true baseline. Fast isn't smart. Assuming the system works perfectly is dangerous. The VA didn't delete the idea, they just delayed the enforcement. This means you cannot rely on old protections to work automatically. You have to force the rater to see the truth. So how do you protect yourself? You shift your strategy. You stop relying on the diagnosis and start focusing on the unmedicated baseline. If you are filing a claim for increase or a new claim right now, your evidence must tell the story of what your life looks like when the medication wears off. Too many veterans go into an exam. The doctor asks, "How are you doing?" And the veteran says, "I'm okay. The meds help." You just handed them a denial. You are not there to talk about your good days. You are there to discuss your disability. You need to clearly articulate the functional loss. If you take medication for migraines, you must describe the symptoms that break through. This is where flare-ups become your shield. The law requires the VA to rate you based on frequency, duration, and severity of flare-ups. Even with medication, do you have episodes? You need to describe the side effects. Does the medication make you drowsy? Does it cause brain fog? Those are part of the disability picture. Here is your action plan. This is how you win. We are going to make it impossible for them to ignore your evidence. First, do not skip the personal statement. This is where you control the narrative. Explicitly write a section titled "Effects of Condition Without Medication." Describe the pain, the immobility, or the mental state you experience if you miss a dose. Proven severity exists underneath the treatment. Second, get a buddy letter. Your spouse or battle buddy sees what the doctor doesn't. Have them write about what happens when the meds wear off. Third, if the examiner focuses on how well you are doing on meds, pivot back. Say, "Yes, the meds take the edge off, but without them, I cannot function." My goal is to make your claim denial-proof. If you leave it up to interpretation, you lose. If you provide clear evidence, you win. The pause on the VA medication rule is a temporary ceasefire, not a peace treaty. The intent to reduce ratings is now out in the open. Don't let this false sense of security make you lazy. Slow down, build your timeline. Clear is smart. Leave a comment below on how you're documenting your symptoms. Stay vigilant. See you in the next one.